Hey y'all, Moses here. In today's video, we're going to be starting a brand new beginner series in Escape from Tarkov. I am not really a beginner. I have about 700 hours in the game, but that was from a couple of years ago. I'm new to this wipe, and a lot has changed since the last time I've played. Maybe you're in the same boat as me, maybe you're a brand new player. Regardless, I've made this video for you, and it'll be one of a series that's coming out over the next couple of weeks. This is going to be updated, refreshed, and made specifically for you. So, let's begin. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video, you're either new to the game, you're considering playing it, or Tarkov is tangentially interesting to you in a gaming sense. So we're just going to talk about what Tarkov is really. Tarkov is an immersive, complex, and unforgiving game that will at one moment be an action-packed milsim shooter where you're having a great time, and the next you're like an RPG gremlin playing an economy game where you're spending days upgrading your hideout or playing the market and you've never even fired a shot. What you'll find interesting about Tarkov will likely be unique to you. Don't compare yourself to other players. It's an easy way to get frustrated. There's a lot of people out there with a ton of experience, and Tarkov is not one of those games that you can just jump into and be awesome out of the gate because it's all based on knowledge. Knowledge really is the greatest currency in Tarkov. There are various types of knowledge. There's in-game knowledge, quest knowledge, trader knowledge, item knowledge. The list goes on, and it can be very, very overwhelming, especially for a prospective player like yourself or myself at one time, watched other people play, felt the draw, but then couldn't clear the barrier of wanting to play versus actually playing. For everybody, this barrier could be different. It could be the fear of losing all your gear and all your money and failing. It could be the fear of getting into fights or tripping over PMCs when you're not prepared. It could be just the fear of walking around a nighttime factory. There's a lot of barriers in Tarkov, but we're going to clear those things out. Let's talk about what you're afraid of. Let's remove those barriers and let's get in the game. Fear of loss is the #1 driver keeping people from enjoying Escape from Tarkov. Loss can come from many sources in Tarkov. You can lose your gear to a PMC. That is with no resistance, no mishaps. Fuck. I think I was running towards it. You can die to a scav. And then the big loss, the one that we all either dread or enjoy depending on your playstyle, and that is the wipe. The wipe happens when new content comes to Tarkov, when balance changes happen or something major happens in development that necessitates a complete reset to zero. Typically, this happens every 6 to 8 months, sometimes more frequently, sometimes a little bit longer. Regardless, it is always coming.
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right?
So if loss is inevitable and we can never avoid it, the best we can do is jump in and embrace it. What we're going to do now is go over a few exercises that will help you get familiar with some stressful situations in Tarkov. This is just a first step. We're going to cover these concepts in more detail in the very near future. So let's do some basics and let's wrap this thing up. Okay, let's take a look at our initial setup. This character is one that I would run. This is a all level 1 gear, first level traders loadout. A couple of different notes about the meds. I'm not sure what editions of the game come with whatever meds to start. So I've got a couple of different setups here. The first I would suggest is just having a grizzly in your container. Like this is I'm only assuming you have a 4-slot container. I'm not going to be using the gamma container for this. So if you have a 4-slot container, the grizzly is great. It will do basically everything you can think of as far as helping yourself out. It'll remove fractures. It'll stop heavy bleeds, light bleeds, and it'll also just repair your damaged limbs as necessary. If you want to bring a CMS to practice what it's like to fix blacked out limbs, that's fine as well. But this is the second setup. If you don't have a grizzly, you could do something like this. So you'll have a heavy bleed, a way to fix out your blacked out limbs, as well as an ALU splint for fractures. You can have a Saliwa, a cheese, but painkillers. These are non-negotiable. You will always need a painkiller on your hotbar. It is essential. It's cheap off the first level of therapist. Everything else can be had off the first level of traders, save for maybe my rig. But if you go to level 1 ragman, you'll be able to pick up something like a bank robber or something else for this exercise. It's really not that important. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your PMC. You're going to take your guy. You're going to pick a map. I would suggest customs. It's the map everyone suggests to start on. You're not necessarily going to be starting your Tarkov journey on this map, but for this exercise, it will be good. So we're going to pick daytime. We're going to go to practice mode. We're going to enable PvE, and we're going to go find some scavs. So the whole purpose of this exercise is to essentially get used to what it feels like to get into fights with scavs and to use your meds. So to make sure that we have everything set up correctly, anything in your pockets or rig can be bound. I suggest you have a bind for your painkiller. I always use number 4 on my hotbar. It's just what I've always chosen. You can choose any button beyond 4 to bind to your hotbar here. So I have my painkillers and my my basic meds bound to 4 and 5. I could change that to my Soleo if I wanted to have more of a serious med outside of my gamma container. Let's say I didn't have a CMS and I preferred to do this. I would have it set up like that. Otherwise, let's just go get into a fight and we'll get used to what it's like getting shot and just dealing with scabs in general. Something to consider if you know you're going to get into a fight, try putting your painkillers out first. If you get shot in the legs without a painkiller active, you'll get slowed down and won't be able to move. Something to note about scabs is they are not stupid. They might look stupid, they might seem stupid in some cases, but they will flank you, they'll approach you when you're looting, they will be places you don't want them to be at the last time you want them to be there. So beware of them. They will ruin your raids if you're not careful, but they're also a great source of experience. So if you can go for a headshot on a scav, do so because you'll get more experience and level up faster. Or not. Something you might want to consider is putting yourself in a position just to get shot by scavs, just to know what it feels like. So you can see there's a bit of a suppression effect when he's firing at us. Now this scav has bad aim, but eventually he'll start hitting us and you're going to want to heal. So, all right, so when your arm is blacked out, your aim is going to get quite shaky. Painkillers will help with this a little bit, but you're going to want to find a spot to do some minor surgery. So if you take a look at your body after getting shot up, you're going to have some various damages to your body. Left arm blacked out. We can fix this with a CMS quite easily. Something to note here, however, is that everyone around you can hear what you're doing. If someone hears this sound going off, they're going to know that you're extremely vulnerable because this animation takes quite some time. Scavs will push you on meds as well, so beware of that. Once you have your arm fixed up, all you really have to do is use your bound meds and you'll start healing automatically, I believe based on your most wounded part of your body. So you'll see here that your left arm is back up. You're not going to have the same amount of health in a repaired limb as you will in a healthy limb. So take note that your left arm will probably be blacked out more easily if you get shot there again. Be mindful as well, if your thorax or your head go to 0, you die. So keep these things healed up to full at all times. And that's the first step. It might seem so small, but the fact that you got this far, maybe even took your first step into Tarkov, is further than a lot of people ever get. So congratulations and welcome to Tarkov. Stay tuned for my next video where we'll be diving deep on how to use the practice mode and how to move around in Tarkov without making too much noise and starting to learn little cues on how to pick up where people are and where they move through the map. You can also follow my socials to keep up to date with what I'm doing. Check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses, where I stream all of this every single day. You can also check out my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for my short form content, and you can also find me on facebook.com/wtfmoses. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like down below, and if you really liked it and want to see more, make sure you subscribe so you can get the notifications as soon as these videos come out. And until next time, we'll see you out there.